This is Freestyle 84 kilos. That's 185 pounds. Jake Herbert out in the red singlet. Keith Gavin in the blue singlet. Herbert representing the New York Athletic Club and Lehigh Valley Athletic Club for Gavin. Jake Herbert, you talk about a man that is hitting his stride in international style wrestling right now. We watched Jake Herbert throughout the beginning of this tournament. And Jason, he was dynamic, he was open, he was fluid. He's making this transition very, very nicely, is Jake Herbert.
I talked to Jake after his match. I walked up and says, when have you been proficient at leg laces? He goes, dude, it was there. I mean, it's something as simple as that. But you got somebody that knows a bunch of different things. And it's chain wrestling. It's putting them all together, knowing them right there. And Herbert capitalized on the situation. And we saw him lace somebody up. And that's something that's not really his go-to type of situation. But he said it was there and he was going to take it. And he scored a lot of points. Right now, Keith Gavin.
Yeah, right now he steps out of bounds as Jake Herbert, and he falls behind Keith Gavin 1-0. Gavin with a 1-0 lead. You talk about Jake Herbert in 2009. Burroughs has had a pretty good year here in 2011, but Herbert owned 2009. He was the 2009 World Silver Medalist, the 2009 and 2010 U.S. Open champion, and also in 2009 he was named the Dan Hodge Trophy winner as the nation's best college wrestler. But look at Gavin. He goes for the 1 point on the takedown. Now he's going to try to make the turn on Herbert. He can't get there. Herbert comes out and picks up 2 points of his own.
He gets 2 on the counter for the hold, so effectively giving up those 2 takedowns really mean nothing because he's got a 2-2 tie on the scoreboard and he's got a 2-point move, so he's taking the lead basically just by, all right, I'm going to sit here and wait and I'm going to counter your move.
Well, you can call that composure. I personally call that strength right there as he fought off Gavin.
It's not just strength, it's just mat savvy. Now in on that leg with that textbook sweep.
He is not content with a 2-2 tie at this point in time, even though he has a 2-point move, which would determine this period.
Both Pennsylvania natives, and that's how the first period's going to end.
It ends 2-2, but by virtue of Herbert scoring that 2-point move, Jason, he wins that first period. So credit Gavin, though. He came out tough and picked up actually a 2-0 lead on that.
Well, yeah, exactly. Gavin, who's a guy who's given him a lot of trouble. Gave him a lot of trouble in the World Team Trials last year. Remember, he almost didn't make the team. Herbert didn't almost make the team last year. It was a late flurry to force a third period for Jake Herbert just to beat Keith Gavin and force that third period. Last year, almost wasn't Herbert on the World Team.
Well, Gavin's got to know that he was able to pick a couple of takedowns early on Jake Herbert. That should be his MO here for the second period as we're underway.
Well, Jake's also got a bit of, for lack of a better term, junk in his arsenal. It's something that he really did well in his scrambling in college as a 4-time All-American at Northwestern and a 2-time NCAA champ. Now, trying to counter that double. Now, Gavin trying to switch off and cut the corner and counter the front headlock. It looked like Herbert tried to go with a front headlock roll through there. Got a little sloppy with it, and Gavin's going to come around and counter with a 1-point takedown here 30 seconds in.
Exactly what it was, and as he did in the first period, so he does again here in the second period, takes a 1-0 lead. But that's not the way the first period ended, so we'll see what's in store for us as we're 35 seconds into the second period.
There's that single again that Herbert loves to go for. He had a real problem hitting it at the World Championships with a Cuban that stepped out of it every single time.
But he didn't have any problem there. He hit it nicely, Jason Bryant.
Yeah, that's one of his go-to moves. It takes the lead, basically. Again, it sounds odd to say takes the lead with a tie score, but that's what he does.
Well, he takes the lead by virtue of having scored the last activity point when the score is even, especially at 1.
Jake's looked real crisp here. Gavin, the 2 seed, although a lot of people expected Andy Rovat and Jake Herbert to meet up, but Rovat was upset by Max Askren earlier, and then Gavin beat Askren in the semifinals. While Herbert beat Bryce Haspin 9-4, 3-0. An opponent's really given him trouble in the past, but Herbert really cruised. It looks really, really good in that semifinal win.
Nice extension now by Jake Herbert. He's denying Keith Gavin. Has that front headlock on. But he slips off, and around behind goes Gavin at the 25-second mark here in the second period. Yeah, he picks up the point and goes up 2-1.
Snaps him by, spins behind. Just a textbook, just using leverage against him. Just felt like Herbert was getting heavy on his toes and just boom.
So look for Herbert here in the final 14 seconds, perhaps to mount a flurry, but look for Gavin to dodge. Mat awareness now is the name of the game here in the second period. Near the out-of-bounds area, and he moves out towards the out-of-bounds area, and they get him on the takedown.
White paddle, one red, confirmed.
One red, confirmed.
Oh, you know what?
Oh, they're going to challenge
I
that.
think Pat Santoro and Jason Kutz have a bit of a point here. It looked as Herbert might have stepped out of bounds.
I thought
while Gavin was trying to push him out. Now, you're allowed to step out if you're in the process of initiating or scoring a move. If that's how they view it, then that's where they can argue the Herbert side, well, he was initiating a move that led to a score. Now, if he steps out and it looked like Gavin was kind of initiating it, then you're into that gray area. Okay, where's the step out? Where's the offense? Where's that?
And from my seat, and we're on the opposite side of the mat, I thought that Gavin had initiated it.
Well, Jerry Kuntz, Rick Spicer, and Jason Bobby on the call here, and we're going to see what the discussion is. So 2-2, and Herbert scored late. That was the call. 1-1, and it looks like they're going to give Herbert the point and another point for a lost challenge, so it's going to be 3-2. And the curse of Jake Herbert again jinxes Keith Gavin.
So Jake Herbert wins the second period in a very, very close match. After winning the first period, he wins 2 periods to none. Jake Herbert, the national champion at 84 kilos.